Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the TransArt Metal Jungle Metal T.Rex, aka their version of a Transmetal Megatron in Masterpiece scale. We'll go ahead and put him off to the side real quick. Take a look at this box, which, yeah, it's a very interesting box. You can see it's the silhouette scene from, was it Coming to the Fusors? Fusors? Yeah, I think so. That bit, yeah, the Western standoff thing. You can see Megatron and Tarantulas and Inferno. They're, you know, doing that thing in TransArt's logo down there. On the top here, Metal Jungle, Metal T.Rex, TransArt's, all that stuff. On the side, you have a Quick Strike. And on this side, you have Waspinator and, I guess, a Rock Face. On the bottom, you have some warnings and whatnot, and QR codes for instructions and whatnot. And actually, the instructions are more than just instructions. And on the back, you have, upside down, weirdly enough, yeah, a big old picture of Metal T.Rex. The BWM-06, you can see that Beast Wars Metal, I guess, what's supposed to stand for, ages 16, but all that stuff, yeah. Yes, I guess decent piece of artwork, although kind of a little poofy looking, but yeah. Also confusing. So yeah, as far as I can tell, based off the sides, that's the back side. The front is the one with the silhouettes and stuff, so that's interesting. Inside the box, he comes with, well, this. I can't read any of it. But yeah, I guess it's something or another. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, it tells you some few little factoids about the figure. I guess you should know, and the QR codes for instructions and whatnot, and yeah, important little things you might need to know. And comes with a collector's card. You see Metal Jungle, Metal T.Rex, and also some tech specs. Yeah, 10, 10, 8, 10, and yeah, it's I think that's plastic, which is interesting. So, plastic card. And also the weirdest thing was a pair of cotton gloves. At least I think they're cotton. Anyway, a pair of gloves for handling the figure because of all the vac metal chrome. At least I think it's vac metal. If it's not, it's very much emulating it. But yeah, pair of gloves, which are a bit too small for me, if you can see that. Yeah, that's the finger, and yeah, it's that's too small for me. But I guess it's thoughtful that they include it. But yeah, no actual instructions, and they want you to go online to see the video. I'm gonna say go my video instead, but yeah, here's the figure. It is Transmetal Megatron. And one thing I will say right now, I really, really like this figure a lot. I was looking forward to this a lot because, well, I had Transmetal Megatron as a kid, and hey, guess what? Like a lot of people's, it broke. When they got a second one, I got let down. They had one more left at the Toys R Us. And that lasted for years. And then a couple years ago, it finally broke. So, yep, that's unfortunate. So, yeah, I got a new one, I guess. I wanted a working Transmetal Megatron. Now I have one. And yeah, you can see, looking up closer, you can see this really nice coppery finish. It's very metallic finish. He's missing the silver vac metaling on here, though. Unfortunately, that's a bit of a bummer. But got the nice copper finish. You got to see the nice shiny purple vac metal chrome there. There's all spin. You got the silver tail, you know, nice picked out, whatnot. Nice and big too, with his little claw thing at the end. You got the head, which looks real nice. Again, you got some nice detailing in there. You got the red eyes and everything. You got the silver little arm things. Yeah. Got a bit of, I guess, the blackish brown color down up in there. And then you got the little toes and the feet and the silver down there. And yeah, unfortunately, also on mine, this is a very common issue, unfortunately, which is you can see right there, yeah, some of the toes come with some significant damage. You can see a little bit on there, too. But yeah, mostly on the inner toes. You can see that the inner toes have a bit of damage, unfortunately. Mine's not actually one of the less bad versions. Yeah, mine is definitely not as bad as some other. I have seen some really bad. I've seen some really bad examples of it chipping away. Apparently, later, if you're seeing this review, they've already sold out of the first shipment. I think later shipments are apparently going to have better protection. They're going to have a bit of plastic around the toes to help protect them better in packaging. So hopefully that will alleviate that issue. So we'll see. But that was a bit of a problem. There's another problem, which I'll get into in a little bit later. But yeah, this is a really nice T-Rex, though. It's nice and big, and it's also fairly heavy, too. I was surprised. It's weird, because the way the plastic is, it's kind of got a plastic which feels like it should be really lightweight, but isn't. So there's that. It just looks really nice, and I really like it, and it just reminds me of the old toy. Just like, it's not quite that to that degree, but it's like almost like being a kid because of the size of it now compared to the size of the old toy when I was a kid and everything. It's a bit bigger, but you know, because the original was like this tall, something like that, and it's going to be smaller. But this is just, yeah, this is just. I said in the Sludge review, but there's something just satisfying about holding a big old robot dinosaur in your hands, you know. Anyway, couple accessories. Most of those I won't talk about. There's a couple I won't talk about because they're not really useful to robot mode. But there's one in particular, which the blast effect. It's a little purple, well, not little. It's a purple blast effect thing. You can't really use it in this mode. Well, for what you think it would be for. It wouldn't be for like, you know, this. There's nothing in there. But what there is in the head here. There is a LED lights. Now, the idea is you take this is a magnet at the end, and you just tap it to the head, and it'll turn on. Unfortunately, this one, after a couple days, this started acting weird. The LEDs in the dino head started acting funny, unfortunately. So the magnet doesn't always work. And in these lights also, you might not be able to see the light up anyway. But I have to now put some pressure on the lights, and then put the magnet, and then it sometimes works. If I put pressure on it and then put the magnet nearby, yeah, now it's kind of working. It's on. I don't know how well you can see that on these lights, but they are on. You can kind of barely see it. They don't work very well. I think the battery was dying. Yeah, speaking of the battery, it is in the head here, of course. It is a CR927, and to get to it, you just go ahead and bend the head down. I would highly recommend using a spudger or something. There's this panel right here on top of the head. You just go ahead and, you know, use a spudger to help you get this off. Oop, don't let the top of the floor. And there you can see the battery thing. You can see the lights are on. You can see that they are on. They just aren't very bright. Unfortunately, I have to like practically squeeze this thing down and then apply the magnet in, because what it is, they're supposed to be on, and then you use the magnet and see if it'll. I'll just show it off on the robot mode, but you're supposed to you basically use the magnet to turn it on, use it to make it blink, and then use it to turn it off. And unfortunately, it's not working. It's stuck on unless I put intense pressure on this thing, it just stays stuck on. It's not working properly, and I don't know why. And I'm guessing my guess would be just simply that the battery's dying. So I'm gonna try to get a new battery and see if that works. But it does include batteries at least. So, but yeah, just so you know when you need to change them, and you go ahead and just clip that in, and then there you go. You need to replace the battery. It's pretty easy. It's also held in place by a weird sticky tack. You just pull it out, and again, I would use the spudger to pull it out. And it's held in place with like a sticky tack or something. You just pull it out, you slip the battery out, slip a new battery in. There you go. Yeah, posability. He's got his head right here. You can go left and right at the neck. You got up and down, like I showed right there. You got that up and down. You got a swivel right there at the base of the neck. And you got the jaw, which can open, which is nice. It shows you also the really nice silvery teeth, although there's also extra silver right there in the tongue. And also a tongue, which is posable. The tongue can open up and down. That's a nice bit of posability. Little T.Rex arms here, going down a bit. T.Rex arms can swivel right here, swivel outward. There's a swivel right here. You have another hinge right here. And the fingers are on ball joints, so you got like a curl there on the fingers. You got spread. You got spread there. And you got rotation. And that's all right there, and it's pretty nice. The legs, you got this much back and this much forward. That's as far forward as it goes. You got that much range backwards and forwards. And you got a swivel there at the knee. You got a knee bend, which is about that far before it stops. And you have the ankles, which you have that much range there. You have up and down, and this is before things start transforming. So yeah, you got that much range, I guess. Oh yeah, mine's got a scratch right there, but yeah. You got that much range. And on the hips, though, it's like, oh no, it's like the old toy where there's nothing there. Aha, they thought of that. Now here, there's a thing, you can untab that on each side. And that lets it out, so then you have a hip spread too. Just like he did in the show. He was able to spread the legs out a bit in the show, which now I'm thinking saying that out loud sounds weird. Yeah, because these go all the way, you can also, take the hips out all the way, and there you go. There's that for that posability if you want. Of course, back here, the tail. You got this. These are all these segmented bits are on ball joints, so you got a nice bit of range there. Unfortunately, it also locks the tail alignment. And yeah, this is also a thing. And then of course, this thing can open and close. Yeah, there's the articulation. And one complaint also is this chest piece right here. You can see it keeps splitting itself open. It does that really easily, unfortunately. It kind of holds itself together, but not super well. Unfortunately, it has a tendency to want to split itself apart a bit, which is kind of annoying. But it's better than just having, I guess, the fist chilling out right there like the original toy. But anyway, a bit of a quick comparison. I'm just going to do one. I would have done the original toy, but again, mine's broken. I'm not willing to spend a bunch of money on getting a new one because they are now getting expensive. Here's a masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron. And you can see he's a bit bigger, which actually makes sense. Transmetal Megatron was slightly bigger than the original Beast Wars Megatron, so he's a bit bigger. And there you go. They're pretty much, you know, pretty close in size and everything. So, yep. There you go. So, I'm going to go ahead and get this guy transformed. And we'll actually... So, here's the thing. Yeah, of course, he's got the vehicle mode. I'm going to do a separate thing for the vehicle mode because there's separate... I'm not going to mention the vehicle mode transformation video because that's just weird. It's so simple because it's the vehicle mode. You know, vehicle mode from Transmetals, which, you know, you just pop these out. They're just pegged and you pop those out. You know. Pop this out. Yep, like that. And then you fold the feet up, and this also will bring out the wheels, the roller blades, which, yeah, that's always been a point of contention. But because here's the thing, this right here, this little plastic rod where the spring is, yeah, that has a tendency to break. Some people have had theirs break, and also on top of that, one was broken. I saw one person where they had both broken out of the box because it's supposed to compress and stuff or whatever, but I'm not going to mess with it too much. It's a little scary, so I'm not going to mess with it too much. So yeah, it is just plastic, so just be careful with this. Really be careful with this piece of rollerblades because it is also part of his heels. But as it is, well, he can rollerblade. You can see that, and it's actually they're nice. The wheels are die cast, so they roll real smoothly. Like, yeah, it's really nice. I'm giving him a bit of a gentle push. I'm just gonna. Yep. Yeah, roll real nice and smooth. And on top of that, they're on little stalks, so they go up and down. They can rotate all over the place, and of course, again, the fans can spin. So yeah, you can very much do what it did in the show when the original toy couldn't do, which is have the fans moving forward. Yeah, so you can have your very silly roller skating flying dinosaur. Anyway. That's pretty simple. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get this back to normal. And yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy transformed, and we'll talk about the robot mode. So anyway, yeah, robot mode. Yeah, you can see him here. He is, well, Transmetal Megatron. Again, looking real close to the details, you can see nice painted purple faces. Eyes kind of dead because, well, they light up and everything. And there's also this, apparently, if I remember correctly, the area around his eyes is supposed to be black, but it's a minor detail. A lot of people have been fixing it with black paint and whatnot, or red paint because of the eyes and whatnot. And also got a little bit of red on the cheeks, I guess. They got, of course, the bronze, coppery shoulder pads and the dinosaur bits, and you got, the black and the bronze there. Nice hands, and you got the purple face thing with the eyes, which are red, translucent plastic. Got the black down here, and you also got the nice, like this leathery, animal hide detail, and you got the copper in there, all that stuff. And again, this big old turbine backpack and everything. Yeah. The thing about the transformation, it's really simple because it's essentially the original transformation with some extra steps, namely the little chest panel and the how you deal with the dinosaur head. But it's largely almost identical to the original toy in that regard. It's really nice because of that, and to the point, this is so similar to the original toy that people will actually assume this was a knockoff. That the TransArt's doing knockoffs, and they're not. These are original molds. The thing is that the original, they're trying to get show accurate as possible. In the original toys, the show was so faithful to the toys for the most part in season 2 forward that it's really not that much different. So that's what's going on here, including having this little thing, which is interesting. Yeah, it looks really nice overall. I really like how this looks. It's nice and big and imposing and all that stuff. And yeah. Yeah, the weird thing is this. This is the tail. Don't fall over. Right now I need to get it. There we go. That's what the problem was. Okay. One of his knees was bent, and the other wasn't. Anyway, this tail is the dinosaur mode tail. It comes off, and it doesn't go back on. Because there's a separate tail. This is the other accessory I was talking about. There's 2 separate tails because you can see the size difference here. This is for Dino mode. This is for Robot mode. Because the show cheated and the tail shrank when he transformed, so their solution was 2 separate tails. This has got some people wrinkle. This is also, I'll be honest, I've seen ever parts for him where we outright replace the entire part with a separate one. I don't think I've ever seen it to that degree, but at least not that I remember. If anyone knows anything else, please tell me, because I cannot think of another toy that does, a Transformer that does this. A lot of people are upset about this. I get why. I get it. I wish it wasn't the case, but it's kind of one of those things. The show cheated, so I guess they're going to cheat too. Someone did come up with like a little 3D printed solution to make it so that you still use this tail. Unfortunately, you use parts from this thing, and yeah, it means basically you can never use this and blah. And this thing is kind of a little oversized for the robot, but eh. Attaching it is also kind of weird. You kind of see these little tabs, which you can, yeah, they're spring loaded. These little tabs in here are spring loaded, and what they do is there's little slots on each side of the arms. And what you have to do is you have to curl up the hand essentially. You have to. Yeah, you have to curl. We more or less have to curl up the hand, like as if you're going back to T.Rex mode. You have to curl it up like that. I believe it's up if you have it on the. Yeah, if you have the spines up, I believe you have to curl the hand up. I'm trying to remember exactly, because otherwise it won't fit in there. And then you have to line this up and get the tabs and use the little nubs on these to pull them back so you can get the tabs slotted in. And it's not. Also, I'll be honest, it's not the most fantastic connection in the first place. It's not exactly the most fantastic connection, honestly. The tabs work, but not super well. It's also easy to accidentally misalign everything. It's tabbed in. It holds on pretty decently, but not most amazingly. It doesn't take much. If you're not careful, it won't take much to just pop that right off. But you can do that. You have the tail weapon, and it looks pretty neat, as is. And it's got the same exact posability as a bigger tail, just, well, smaller. So unfortunately, that thing about that is just it's got the posability of the bigger tail, which means unfortunately sometimes you get that thing of well, that's too much. Unfortunately, get that effect of just simply the tail can get all out of whack, and you're trying to have it sitting straight because for weird thing in the show, it like compressed too. and mostly saturate, although it could move around. So it's like one of those things like, yeah, you're going to have to deal with that. So that's the thing. Looks neat though. And one quick thing I want to actually point out, I forgot to mention this, such as on the robot mode tail, for that little tab clip things, you know, you got this little springy thing, but also if you want to lock them so they're open to make things a little easier, you go ahead and just slide them like that. And then slide them up or down like that. And then I guess when you go ahead and line it up, you go ahead and press those down, and damn, they'll just spring into place, and there you go. That might be helpful. I'm not sure any which way you're kind of working with tiny little, really tiny space, so it might not be that helpful. But yeah, there's the thing. I totally kind of forgot to mention that because I never use it. There you go. So that's the thing. If you don't like parts for them, this is probably going to rankle you a lot. Also comes with this accessory, which is from that one episode. I think it was actually Code of Hero. Yeah, where he's showing off to Rampage, like, yeah, look, I can change the future and stuff. And he's got the broken piece of disc. Or that was later. No, it was later, I think. Which way, he had the broken piece of disc. This is from, like, so he had the whole disc, and then later he had the broken piece of disc. But any which way, yeah, he got this, and he's got a little piece of, you can't remove that. I wish it had a swappable, like, full disc or a broken disc, but you know, it's not. It's for a small accessory, cool. And it's also got this little things for the little view thing. If you put it doesn't really stay up if you pull it this much, but if you pull it any further, it starts to pop itself out of its seat because it's just a friction hinge. So yeah, that's unfortunately it's supposed to be the little projector for, like, I think it was showing off to Ravage, I believe. Basically, hey, yeah, guess what? Your boss was the one who told me to do this. I'm not going off. Yeah, unfortunately, if it won't stay up very easily. This does spin though, see? And yeah, you can see it's ball joint, so it's easy to just pop this off and pop that on, and now you got the projector thing. It's kind of neat, but it doesn't work as well as I'd like, so yeah, it's unfortunate. That's the thing. But of course, you got the blast effect again, which it's got a little divot right here. These little divots right here. That's basically for the claw. You know, you open up the claw and there's a peg hole, and you make sure you line up the divots with the claw bits and make sure it's also opening up. Because it's a very and you I guess squeeze that in around, and yeah, it doesn't hold in very secure. Unfortunately, it's very loose in my. Yeah, you have to really push it in there, and then it's kind of holds. But yeah, if you don't push it all the way in, it's kind of a loose. And also on top of that, this is so much extra weight that it doesn't stay up very well, which sucks. It's just too much weight once you add the blast effect. It would be cool otherwise, but yeah. But of course, the blast effect has this bit, which this should work here unless the battery's also dying here. But anyway, you just go ahead and bring it close. You don't even have to get on the head, but yeah. Eyes light up. Tap it again. Tap it again. Yep. They blink and tap it one more time, turn them off. And same thing, it's the same thing, battery thing. I'll get to that in a second because there's also another thing, which is it comes with like 2 extra faces, which you can store in the big tail. That's pretty neat. Most of the accessories, except for the blast effect and the extra, the record player tip, can store back here because there's 2 extra faces. You can see those, and these 4 things, which are different fingertips for the dinosaur. And usually they just tab in, so you can just pull those out. Pull that. And right now I have on the neutral face. He's got this more kind of toy-ish angry face, and this very big, it's kind of weird-looking smirking face. Which way to swap those out is pretty easy. You just pull the helmet off. Well, not pull the helmet off. You pull the front of the helmet off. Just pull that off, and while we're here, yeah, there you can see the battery and compartment, and that you just take a Phillips head screwdriver, unscrew this, pull this panel off, and you can pull that right out, again, sticky tack, and swap it out. Again, it's a CR927 battery, and there you go. Yeah, then, anyway, the faces, well, this has got the helmet. You just push the face through, because it pegs in right here. You just push the face through the back here. Make sure to push on the bridge of the nose and not below, because I would be worried about the peg snapping if you push too far down. We'll go with the angry face because I don't really like I don't like this face that much. I think it's not a very good face. It doesn't look quite correct. It's a little off. It's not as good as the one that was included in the official Beast Wars Megatron, which you'll see in a second. But yeah, you just go ahead and peg this one in, And then put that in, and there you go. Now he's got an angry face. He's really angry now. Let's go ahead and leave that on for the rest of the video. Why not? And of course, like pretty much every figure that has light up eyes, the big problem is when they're not lit up, they're pretty dead looking, and it's not particularly great looking. And that's just a little disappointing, which is why a lot of people paint them. But yeah, also, like I said, there's these things in here, and it's pretty cool. I'm going to just do one side and not both. So they'll come out, because that's ball joint and sockets, and they go in there pretty good. Too good. Yeah. Pop them out of these sockets, and then a little worried about the longevity of this, so I'm probably not going to do this very often. But yeah, in the show, his dinosaur fingers could turn into guns, and this lets you do that. Just these pop out of these sockets really easily. And then yeah, because you pop the straight ones in. If I recall in the show, they kind of came forward. Yeah, they kind of came forward like this, and became. See, there's little holes in the tips. So yeah, they become laser guns. You can see, yeah, compared to the regular ones, moving up a little bit. Yeah, compared to the regular ones, they're which are curved or straightened out. That's kind of neat. That's a pretty neat thing for our accessory. You just do that because why not? And yeah, you can pop them out really easily. Just again, just ball joints, and you can get plenty of leverage. Only thing is the dinosaur fingers have cutouts in them, so that's kind of interesting. And that's kind of close to how they were in the show. There's curled around like this. This is how they typically put them. But yeah. Overall, really good looking. Some pretty neat little accessories. Yeah. Not too many to be overwhelming, I feel. But anyway, but posability though. Posability. His head is on a ball joint, so you got left and right. You got mostly down, a little tiny bit of up, but not really a whole lot. Waggle. So you got a decent range. This, unfortunately, the back is too much. The shoulder joints are actually on hinges right here, and can hinge forward and back as well for more posability options. Of course, you saw these can move around for the gun mode and whatnot. Yes, of course, you can still do the VTOL jets in this mode as well, if you want. Those can pose around just the same as dinosaur mode. Up here, this shoulder joint is just friction. Unfortunately, I wish this was ratchet, but unfortunately, there's not really a lot of room because of how this is designed. There's no really room for ratchet, so unfortunately, this has to be shoulder. This shoulder has to be friction, which theoretically do full 360, except well, stuff's in the way, and you have to then do stuff. But yeah, you can do full 360 there. Outward is ratcheted though. You can hear that. You got a bicep swivel. I'm gonna move over to this side real quick, because it'll be a little easier for the rest of this. You got a nice deep elbow bend, which is actually just a single elbow, I believe. I don't think. Oh, wait, there's two. It's a double jointed elbow, but with one joint you can get a full curl. So it's kind of weird. This whole second joint, I guess, is to make it give it a little more of a natural look. So you got that. You got a wrist swivel going down a bit. Yeah, you got wrist swivel, and you got this hinge right there as well. The fingers. The fingers here can, there's the ball joint, blah, 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 blah. Words. The thumb is on a ball joint at the base. So you got that, you got, all that. And you got a hinge right above that. And then a second hinge right there. So you got a good degree of posability, plus the, twisting, I guess you can twist the thumb. The fingers are all on hinges. Yeah, this finger is on its own hinge right here, and then a second hinge, and these fingers are all fused as one thing, and then another hinge right there. So decent posability, but not the most amazing I've seen on a Masterpiece figure. The waist. Nice ratcheted, very ratcheted joint. And
These can move as independently. That the backpack can move independently. You see these disc things. It's like Mastermind Creations, actually. I guess you can hinge this up and stuff. Yeah, so this can move independently, so you can get it out of the way you want. There is also an ab crunch, which unfortunately is a bit on the loose side. If you don't have it full tilt, it has a tendency to just kind of fall backwards. It's a weird ab crunch because you also have this thing attached, so it does, you know, prevent it from going any further than that, right? And weirdly enough, these hinges are what's preventing it from drooping, because if it wasn't for these hinges, this thing would be super loose. Yeah, these hinges attaching this thing right here are what's keeping this from drooping right now. It's a weird ab joint because of that. So it does work, it just doesn't work the way you'd expect it to. You got hips though, which nice softer ratchet forward and back all the way. Outward you have that much range, and there's something weird there. You got that much outward. You got, again, they got the knee swivel essentially. The knees, got that. And of course the feet, you got the angle tilt. And you got a bit of up and down as well. And of course these can come out and you can rollerblade around. And as long as you get them in the right position, he is nice and stable. And again, you can roll on pretty good. One thing I would complain about a little bit is these can be a little droopy. They're not as tight as I'd like, so they can be a little droopy sometimes. That kind of stinks. Yeah, so they can be a little droopy and that kind of stinks, but you know, it's not too hard to fix it. So that's the thing. So it's a pretty darn good looking robot. It's gonna compare them real quick though. There you go. That's why I was standing weird again. To the official Beast Wars Megatron Masterpiece. Who also doesn't really want to stand. There we go. There you go. You see, again, he's a bit taller. He's supposed to be a bit taller. I think actually he might be a little bit too short comparatively, but regardless, that's the two of them. And yeah, I don't have any other TransArts guys, otherwise I'd be comparing those, but I might have to go look into getting a primal or something, because apparently also they may have teased a Rampage, which, oh my god, if they do Rampage, I'm going to be ecstatic, because I really would love to have a Rampage figure. So anyway, that's TransArt's Megatron. Should you get him? He does have a couple small issues. The parts forming thing might turn a lot of people off. I don't find it a big deal. I understand why they did it, but it might turn you off right there. A lot of them have problems with the toes are scratched up, but apparently they might be fixing that for the second wave. The second release might have that fix, so just be aware of that. And a couple parts are a bit looser than I like, and on mine also the battery thing started wearing out, doing some weird stuff. So you got that. But he is a good size. He's not too complicated to transform. It's not too difficult to figure out. There's a couple things that, like I mentioned this in the transformation video, but the neck flap for the dinosaur head can be broken if you're not paying attention. So just be careful of that. And also the roller blade wheels can snap off if you're not careful. I've seen a couple reports on that, so just watch it if you do get this guy. The good news is this guy's actually pretty cheap. He's about $135 from Show Z, which is really good price for a big old chunky masterpiece, but he is also really simple, which explained his lower price. He's a fairly simple transformation, so his engineering wasn't too involved. So yeah, if you are into the Transmetal Beast Wars guys, or like me, you really just wanted a new figure to replace the one that broke from your childhood or whatever, I think he's really worth it, warts and all. If you get a second wave, a second release, like you should be at this point, theoretically the foot problem with the paint should be foot paint problem should be fixed, hopefully. So that might be a thing, but that should be fixed. And yeah, I think overall this guy's really great, looks great, good price, simple transformation. It's like almost, for me, it's almost muscle memory because of the old toy. Yeah, It just added nice little things. There's not too many extras, and what is there is not amazing, but satisfying, I guess. So, yeah, I would recommend getting them if you're at all interested in Beast Wars and want a good one for your masterpiece. But that's just me. So I hope you found this review informative and entertaining. I hope you like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Twitter. I'm at Nemesis Prime 1, and check out my coffee and my Patreon. And I'll see you next time with another video review.